other Globers from north to south, east to west. We at Globing News Channel got you covered on whatever happens in the Globe scene. And today, you will witness the Fusion Cup's round 2 of the losers bracket, which is also the third place match of the Fusion Cup. This match is a rematch between Spikey Boom Sticks and Trigger Happy Havoc. Today, Flicked will be substituting for your usual host, me, Katashi. He is accompanied by Lockmere, our beloved Rank 1 Trapper. Now, before we begin our post-match commentary, let's take a look at the players' loadouts. First, Spikey Boom Sticks. This team is led by the one, the only shinobi, Beak. He leads the immovable object, indestructible moving fortress, SavageSandwich, followed by the only player who plays on Mac, King, the crypsis pelican cultist. If we look at their range charts, it seems like Beak's traps are his strongest aspect, while Savage excels in mid-range combat from 5 to 50 meters, and King is great at long-range picks from 50 to 250 meters. Now, let's take a look at Trigger Happy Havoc. Trigger Happy Havoc is manned by the one and only game dev, Dr. Science, the rank 3 gunner. He wields dual ricochet and homing SMGs, accompanied by a Hunter and Nova, though those cubes can be substituted for a bounder. He is also one of the few barrier users in Globe Gear. This team's star and biggest threat will be our beloved chibi artist Grief, the rank 2 sniper and rank 5 attacker. Everyone say, "Thanks Grief for making the template for this presentation." Wow, no one? Okay. Finally, Gunter, or Nugud, wields a Slayer. He is well known for his blink behind Slayer attacks. Based on the range charts, this team is very well rounded, with long range from Grief, mid range from Doc, and close range by both Grief and Gunter. I wonder how differently this match will turn out this time. Alright, I'll pass the torch to you guys.
Well, this will be a 2v2 match due to Gunter unfortunately being able to make it, so it'll be interesting to see which two people Beak will select to send in here. That'll basically force Grief and Doc to have to play a bit of a guessing game because each of the three of the Spiky Boom Sticks brings something different to the table. So if they send in, say, King and Sandwich, they don't have to worry about traps as much, but they got to worry about Pelican and Sandwich's massive barriers. They send Sandwich and Beak, they got to worry about traps, but they don't have to worry about it being sniped at a distance, and so on. So I think that's going to be a pretty big factor here for Dr. Science and Grief to deal with. I think another big
I wholly agree.
I think another big X factor is when Beak is in the match. Traps are always a factor that you got to be aware of, and it's going to come down to Doc and Grief coping with those traps and seeing how they can deal with them. They take Beak out early, then that stops the trap spread, but that does open them up to Sandwich taking them out. If they don't, then they open themselves up to just getting chipped away at by traps and being unable to hunt down either Beak or Sandwich, who can stay in their trap zone and just continue to pelt away at them.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And
Now,
then final X factor I would say here is that whenever King's in play, it's gonna have to come down to King and Grief sniping, because King, being a Pelican user, can easily end either Grief or Doc if they're both not careful about keeping their sight lines low and aware that King can be just about anywhere. Likewise, if Grief is able to counter snipe King through good callouts with Doc whenever King takes that shot, that'll give them the leg up because suddenly they won't have range anymore.
Yeah. I think this one will be very interesting, and I think it's quite even, actually. All right, so we're just going to cycle through to have a look at any loadout changes from usual. It's looking like King is running his upgraded version from round 1 of his typical sniper setup, very standard for King. You can see Grief running Falcon and Masamune this game, along with Barrier and Caltrops. Probably looking to play from a further distance with a loadout such as this. Might make things interesting with the traps. Sandwich is, of course, running nothing different from usual. We can't see what his cubes are from here, but you can assume he has an answer for every single range. And Doctor is running Ricochet battle rifles. How fun. they are trying to play from a range with the loadouts such as this.
Ooh,
So
Grief and
it'll be very
Sandwich
interesting to
already
see.
engaged. Sandwich got some good licks in on Grief. Doc moving to
Yep,
support
he's
him.
getting pincered right now. We will have to see. I think King is going to have to bail him out here. He will absolutely, yes. He's moving
Sandwich
to the
down
beach.
an arm. At almost half health.
King might go for a pick here. Ooh, no sightline. Now, an important thing to note with ricochet battle rifles is that they will really shred you if you're in an enclosed area. They will get you from across the map as well. Very high range. Grief might be in a bit of a tricky
Down
spot. Yeah,
goes
there he
Grief.
goes.
With a headshot
Well-placed
with
bolt.
bolt.
Yes, very good from Sandwich. Oh. Okay. A bit of a spectator bug. Never mind, this is just my ping.
Yeah, it was your
Don't
ping.
worry about it.
That's why we have 2 camera views, folks.
Yes.
King landing some hits in here on Doc.
Yeah, he's currently down 1 arm, which is the one that's opposing his barrier, which is a bit of an issue. He can't defend and attack at the same time, but I'm sure he can deal with it. Very good shield there, well timed. It's a bit of a back and forth here. But a key thing to note is that will really take down the amount of time for him to regenerate his arm. Sandwich making sure to move up in the middle of the open, because that is the key weakness of Ricochet Battle Rifle. They aren't very effective against people with a barrier on the beach. So he's making full use of that.
I'll stay on Doc. You can switch between King and...
Yeah. King is looking extremely healthy. Hasn't really engaged too much. And see if he goes for a few
some good hits
shots.
there.
King is very close. He might be trying to go for a
solid
quick
hit.
scope here.
Doc is looking low here.
Yep, Sandwich is looking to regenerate some cubes.
Fall back and regain health. Down
Big
goes
Nova,
Doc.
and that's
Wasn't
the
able to
game.
get far enough away.
Sandwich with a clean 2 kills.
First round over. With the Spikey Boom Sticks taking a 1-0 lead in this round. Big factor in this match is definitely going to be team coordination, as it was going to come down to basically can they pincer down Sandwich without getting shot by King. And they got off to an early start, in my opinion, here, because they were able to bring Sandwich down to almost half health and down an arm, which is very, very critical for Sandwich because that cuts his attacking power in half. Grief also took some early hits here from a Sandwich bolt, but they managed to make up for it early on with Doc providing that suppressive fire element. So right here is where they Sandwich down an arm, almost at half health, and both teams trying to pincer. But anyone who's fought Sandwich knows that Sandwich on a beach, man, is really, really something to behold, because he can use that element to watch his back, but he is also good at knowing when to come off that beach, work a flanking route, and see what he can really pull off. And I believe, I don't have the camera view of it, but I believe the reason he moved in that direction is because he knows King is behind him at that point.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
So having King at his back also helps him keep his teammates in. It's right there with a beautiful bolt headshots.
Very clean
See
from
that
Sandwich
again here,
as always.
very clean, like right, bam. I forgot how to do it in VLC, where you can go frame by frame. But yeah, it takes him out right before he goes around the corner there, and that allows him to then turn his attention fully to Doc. The solid hunter hit that sends Doc into retreat. Doc does manage to block the second follow-up hunter, and preserve more of his health. And he does have the health advantage against Sandwich here, but is now having to really be wary of the pelican from King, who is tracking Doc and hoping for that shot. Gets it through the barrier, but not a clean hit that would end the match right then and there. So they're continuing to have to do the maneuver warfare in order to keep Doc pinned down.
Yes. What do you think of the mix-up to the Ricochet battle rifle?
I think it was a solid move because Ricochet is a natural counter to barrier in general, which
Yeah.
Sandwich knows. Hence, Sandwich, as you can see right here, Sandwich is not eager to move inland, where
Yeah.
Ricochet has way more things that can bounce off of to get around his barriers. So that which is Doc's trying to make the most of it by staying a bit more inland and pretty much daring them to come after him. And we can see here Doc is trying to figure out what's the best way to play this, and eventually ends up settling on further inland high ground tower, because that inland highland tower here, that's going to give him the most amount of range, make it harder. Sandwich doesn't have mobility gears, can't approach. He just has to watch out for that pelican shot. If it was just going to be Doc and Sandwich, I think that Sandwich would actually have a bit of a trickier time trying to
Yes, I
pin
agree.
Doc down there.
Yeah.
But Doc can't just stay up there with pelican potential factor.
Yeah.
But yeah, falling into that pit here where Bounder was able to just crash into Doc's back, dragging him down to 11 health. Doc pretty much had to either go for broke or go for a full retreat, and he went for broke, and Sandwich broke him.
Yeah. I think it was a good effort from Doctor though. He
Oh
played
yeah,
that quite well. The only real mistake was just falling into a Bounder pit, but that's just it happens to everyone.
yeah. Falling into
So
the Bounder, yeah.
that's
It,
such a minor mistake. Like otherwise, I think he played that very
yeah.
very well.
Well, and he hesitated getting right here. He got the shield up a second too late.
Yeah.
And ultimately, actually, on a second look here, the bolt did most of the work. So he intercepted the first bolt, switched, dropped the shield, but then bam, that second bolt brought him all the way down to
Yes.
46, and then the Bounder did another 30 on top of that. And then right
Just a
here,
simple
yeah,
matter
he
of
had the decision right here whether he was going to try to go for broke or to do a full retreat, because he still has a lot of energy left. He could have gotten back to 50 health and continued to do an attrition warfare with battle rifle, which would have been an interesting play. Might not have changed the result at all, but it might have led to a different outcome potentially. But yeah, 2v1s, especially when one is a crypsis sniper, that's tough. There's not a
yes.
lot you can do there, because you basically have to keep moving at all times. You can't get comfortable. You can't relax, because you never know where King's gonna pop up and just dome you.
Exactly. It's a pretty tough situation to be in, but I think he played it quite well. And the next match will probably be quite interesting because the they do have a substitute available. I'm not sure if they're going to use it, but they could at any time bring in Beak and his caltrops and potentially bomblets to really mix things up. So I guess it's time for an ad break that none of you guys will see until the video is uploaded to YouTube. Great ads, am I right, Knockmere?
Fantastic, best ads.
Yeah, I especially liked the ad where Globe Gear was in it, you know? That ad was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Rosa Amara. Number 1 sniper. Asian pair. Lockmere. Number 1 trapper. Are you an independent player? Do you use traps, guns, or swords? Then you may be a perfect fit for Winter Squad, now recruiting.
It's starting off with with King and Sandwich again. Same rotation as last game. Of course, they probably wouldn't want to switch because they won the round.
Yep, if it ain't
Sandwich
broken,
is
don't
running
fix
the
it.
exact same setup again. So Sandwich and King, same things again.
Looks like Beak dropped caltrops.
But Grief did. It looks
Yep.
like it. They didn't get any value last time, so he wouldn't want to spend the energy on it. But other than that, everyone is using the same stuff, so I'm sure that it'll be an interesting one because it'll basically be a very similar loadouts, but I think they will play the game differently this time. It's a different map layout as well.
Right now, it's a big
I'll
determining
spectate
factor
Grief
is
at the
trying to
start.
locate each other.
And he spotted King. There's some good sword damage. King absolutely will call out that location to Sandwich. Here he comes. In comes the Sandwich. But he doesn't get a full reveal. Taking some mild ricochet damage, but nothing too big. I think I just won't spectate Doctor. Grief doing very solid sword damage. I think he might chase down that kill, but they know that King is very low, so Sandwich will come in with the cover. Yep, good teamwork here. Solid hit from Sandwich. Good one split bolt there. Big Nova, huge damage. Grief down a leg. This could be quite bad. He's caught out in a bad spot here. Chosen to go inside the building. If Sandwich catches onto that, that could be quite bad, but it looks like they're just choosing to reset. It's a smart decision. No need to overcommit right now. He knows that he hit quite solid damage.
Chip damage in on King here. At least I think it was King.
How low is King now?
King is down to 42 and missing a leg. He's back
So
up to
it's
50
looking
though,
like
with the recharge.
it is quite an even game still so far. Both the snipers are on similar health, and both Doc and Sandwich are also on similar health. Because their compositions are they're quite similar. I'd say that they are very similar, but of course Doc and Grief's team has a bit more range in exchange for Sandwich's area damage, but it's looking quite even so
Continuing
far.
to chip away at Sandwich here.
Oh, Grief with the snipers. He's finished off King. I do think Sandwich still has a good shot here, though.
Other foot. Yeah, it's basically going to be a match of teamwork here. If both of them can effectively call out the entire match, Abco people, they have a solid chance at taking it. Likewise, it's still Sandwich, so who knows? Sandwich is not someone to take lightly.
Of course, I've done some personal warming up with Sandwich. He has experience against Grief-esque loadouts now. Good solid 1v1 before this match as a warm-up. They've chosen to take the beach. It's actually a quite smart move. The ricochet rifle will now have a background to chip him down exactly as we're seeing now. Sandwich is opting to stay here. He's very good at positioning. He's looking for high ground, so there's less of room for the battle rifle to ricochet off of him. But obviously they have more range. They have a big advantage in the poke battle. We'll see what happens here. Don't know, Sandwich looking to push up here, I think. Yes.
Doc taking the high ground on the tower. Very smart.
Sandwich seems to be playing some sort of stealth here, but no, he's just playing it very safe. He doesn't want to take unnecessary damage here. Yeah. So he will prioritize getting into a good position before trying to do anything. Grief going in with the sword. Interesting decision. That huge bounder. He's not dead yet, though. Both Grief and Sandwich, very low health now.
Doc
Very
doing his
good
best to
trade-off.
suppress.
Yeah. Grief will be very happy with that trade. He did far more damage. Doctor still covering fire, but of course Sandwich is in the open on the beach. That ricochet battle rifle is not as good as piercing at long range, as we can see here. It's not getting as nearly as many hits.
2 hits
Oh,
there.
2 hits. Sandwich gonna run to the...
I think it heard you flicked.
It did hear me there. Must have been bouncing off of those boxes.
Yes, it was.
That pelican is very scary for Sandwich. His barrier's getting very low from all the chip damage. But he's managed to regen up to 50, which is good. He's got 1 full health barrier, the other one will be recharging now. He's still just not committing, he's waiting for them to push. He's willing to make it a long range battle, because he has his barrier to sustain himself. But it is obviously right now in favor of the team of 2. Have they now? That is very advantageous for him. He will be making his move.
He flanked to the far right, I believe, and they've been mainly looking center and left from where they were looking before. They flanked around. I believe Sandwich is currently in bottom of C3, C4.
Yes. He is making good use. He's moving up slowly, making sure to stay behind cover
in order to minimize his profile there, since barrier is very easily seen at a distance.
He unfortunately does not have access to cloak to try and really sneak up on them, so he's going to look for a mid-range shot probably. But for now, he is very satisfied to just watch them with a third-person view, try and maybe move up, but of course the other team will recognize this, and they have moved location a bit, now covering multiple towers.
Doc using a sonar strategy of firing Ricochet BR and see if you can get a random hit.
Yes, it is just a very, very slow game, but Sandwich showing good patience here. But again, the Doctor's Ricochet battle rifle, it is capable of revealing his position.
Now that being said though, if time expires with this current match, the match winner will go to Trigger Happy Havoc, because they do have a 2-1 player advantage at the moment.
Yeah, that's why Sandwich is making his move now.
Yeah, Sandwich needs to kill at least one of them to secure a draw. Oh, here we go.
Rifle from Doctor. Big damage from the bounders. Potential for a kill on Grief here. Grief retreats, of course. That Ricochet BR is really pulling in its weight here. Dipping him down, unable to push him fully. Looks like Sandwich is going for some bounds, maybe able to get the kill on Grief. Seems to be moving up here, but again, that cover fire is really going to stop him from being able to fully commit to anything. And here we go with another reset. The safe regen. Looks like Sandwich really wants to take this duel against Grief. But, yeah, here we go. Grief could land a shot like that.
Nope, Grief has fallen back.
Super low health on Sandwich now. That Pelican doing a solid damage through the barrier. And here, Sandwich will absolutely want to just reset again. Go back to 50, hide himself, and attempt to get a kill.
Unfortunately, obviously, Sandwich lost track of Sandwich there and is unable to secure it with Ricochet BR.
Yeah. Sandwich regens all his limbs, back up to 50, back into the hit and run tactics. Now, this
Now, key thing to note here is Sandwich does have the energy advantage at the moment.
Well, very interesting.
Yeah.
But Yes, that
When
is a good
Doc runs
point
out
to
of
note.
energy, that is it for Doc. Grief still has Masamune on the other hand.
Yes, but he'll be unable to sprint, and I think Sandwich could probably beat a Masamune user if they have no energy. I'm confident
Yeah,
in Sandwich to do that.
especially if Sandwich still has energy.
Going for a cheeky bolt on Doctor there. One split, he didn't go for the risky zero split, but the inaccuracy on that makes it a bit harder to land at range. But
Yeah, Sandwich is
any chip
making
damage
the
is good for
most
him here.
at Sandwich is putting on a good show for how to keep your line of sight low and avoid drawing attention to yourself,
Yes. But of
which is a
course,
big
Doc and
component
Grief, they're
in
playing the
lesson
power
one. Don't
position
die.
here.
Ooh, solid
Huge
note right
9
there.
damage. Absolutely massive. Um,
Wasn't meant to
that will
kill so
actually.
much as it was to distract and
Oh,
confuse. It's 2 hits
yes,
now.
yes. But again, that will just chip away at their health, chip away at their energy. Sandwich doing great guerrilla tactics. Doc and Grief, they're controlling the power position of the towers. That is good. Obviously, if you do have numbers, I do think it is a good idea to do this. But again, that Ricochet BR just really chipping him down, stopping him from doing anything. So he will probably go back and try and hide himself. Sandwich constantly under threat from Pelicans, Ricochet BR. Trying to rotate round, get himself in stealth again. And potentially just go again, just chip eventually find a mistake to take
Huh.
advantage of.
I think Doc and I just saw something very weird on his screen. We will look at that later.
Okay, fun, interesting thing for everyone to see after this match.
Yeah.
Massive 5 damage from Bounder. But again, it's on Grief, so...
Currently, Doc is sitting at 116 health.
Oh,
Grief's at
oh, and there goes
46,
the
and there it
Ricochet.
is.
Super scary weapon.
We are all tied up here at 1-1. So we got early on here in the match. Both teams were jockeying for position, and this basically became it's another match where it's whoever had that range ended up dominating here. And King took that early hit there from a Grief Sword, who saw right through the crypsis. And on top of that, King took up a defensive position here just to wait it out, bide some time, make sure that he really did shake Grief, while Doc in Grief decided to then go after Sandwich. Good block here by Doc. And ultimately, I think it was a matter of this time Doc was really got into a groove with the Ricochet BR. He was really able to make the most of doing that chip damage and just wearing them down enough. That way, one of them can secure the kill.
Yeah, I think those extended fights from just the power of the massive magazine, the amount of ammo he has access to, the chip damage from the battle rifle,
Yeah,
really
like
pulling
right
its weight here.
here, they were hounding the absolute crap out of Sandwich, but Sandwich, still being the strong fighter that he was, got good damage in on Grief,
And
forcing
managed
Grief
to
to
escape.
retreat. All the while here, Doc was down an arm from a pelican snipe, because as you can see right here, both arms, and he turns, tries to start shooting at him again. Bam, right there. Lost the arm, lost one of his battle rifles, and then used up the rest of the clip here just before Sandwich entered into a great ricochet area and was unable to support Grief, which gave Sandwich some much needed breathing room.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so that was a very critical snipe by King there. But the moment he got that ammo back, he started unloading in that direction, sees the King snipe, knows it misses this time, gets his arm back, and just unloads in that area, piling up the chip damage where he can.
Mm. Yeah, again, these Ricochet BRs really, really critical in this game. And yeah, I will say good job to Grief. He managed to survive quite a long time in sword fights against Sandwich, which is quite difficult. Obviously he went into a bounder zone, managed to survive. Well done to Grief for. He did quite a lot of damage to Sandwich. Really took him down to 50 health, which is the key thing that got Sandwich killed in the end, I guess. So well done to Grief for his massive innate skills.
And Sandwich fell back to the beach, but then Doc continues to just chip away. War of attrition here. Spots King on the beach. Attempts to shift, but no need because King got pelicaned, which turned this match into a 2v1.
And it gives Doc and Grief a lot of breathing room. They no longer have to worry about the crypsis snipes from nowhere. Very important.
You started the timer, right?
Yes.
Okay.
There's another 4 minutes left.
Yeah, so speeding up here because there's a lot of just jockeying for position. Grief almost going down at one point. But Doc eventually fell back to a tower position, which helped kind of set the tone for the rest of the match here, as he was able to provide Overwatch for Grief going in with melee. But that's it's BR is good, but it's still not a sniper rifle in the sense that he can quickly turn the tide. He still has to rely on building up the chip damage. As Grief here is retreating as Doc tries to cover him with Ricochet. And they're both trying to jockey for that position now here. Let's skip ahead a bit. Sandwich staying to the beach where he knows Ricochet won't be able to get him as effectively. And right here, this is where Sandwich's stealth skills kind of got put on display as both Grief and Doc are trying to pin down where he was, but he was in the bottom right-hand corner of the map here, having successfully rotated out of sight and managing to stay low. And really make the most of just hopefully being able to chip away more because Doc still has 135 health. Grease still has decent, like I think he was down to 50 at this point, right?
Yes.
So neither of them are in an immediate insta-death situation here. As Doc tries to desperately locate Sandwich. And the sonar, using Ricochet as a sonar was a very interesting tactic.
It is effective.
Yeah,
It does
because it
work.
would allow it to get around corners. It's a very unique strat that only Ricochet can do. And Bounder, I guess, to a lesser degree, but Ricochet is really the more precise way of doing it.
Yes. Yeah.
So that then finally Sandwich moved up in attempt in a gamble here, allowing them both to
I do appreciate
re-engage.
the intimidation tactic of a rapid fire bolt. Or was that a
Fires
rapid
the
fire hunter?
explosion.
Sorry.
I think it was a rapid fire hunter. It's moving a bit slow.
Yes.
As they square off again as Doc attempts to provide cover fire. Gets a few chip damage as Grief moves away. So just Sandwich managing to avoid any really bad angles, luckily. But they are keeping Sandwich pretty hampered here and preventing him from being able to pin either one of them down, because if he tries to go after one, the other is just going to rip him to shreds, and Sandwich knows that. So Sandwich is doing his best to try to make the most of the situation. Grief takes up position with Pelican on the tower as well, figuring that he might as well, but this is when the Sandwich starts getting his chip damage in with Nova on Grief. Yep, there's one. Grief's trying to figure out where it came from. Just can't seem to find line of sight there. Gets hit with a second one. I think at this point Doc managed to at least see where that one came from.
It's looking like Grief has again opted to not take traps and go with the Pelican to deal with fields a bit better. Doctor, that is a battle rifle. Ignore the SMG pictures in the bottom. That is a battle rifle. Sandwich is of course going to use the same as always, and so is King. So it looks like they have not
That was a
changed
close
at
miss
all from
by
the previous
King. That
match.
would have been a very early game setter there if he had landed that. Grief got
Indeed.
very lucky.
I think I will opt to spectate Grief at the start. Grief and Doctor, they're going to go for the poke battle again. They do have higher range. It's a logical move here.
Oh,
Oh,
bit of friendly
ooh.
fire there.
Doctor. Can't be, I'm joking. It happens. King has been spotted. He has taken a pretty menacing
They're
position
being
there.
generous to the other team. They're just giving themselves a bit of a handicap. Good chip damage on Sandwich there.
King might be getting flanked from Grief here. Grief going all the way around the right side. He might be going on a hunt to assassinate King. Do they notice? Looks like they do not. We will see how this flank plays out. Sandwich has taken huge damage already. Those ricochet battle rifles really pulling their weight here, putting in good work. Doctor playing from the top of the tower.
Grief still working
Interesting
the
use of the
flank.
single split nova. Yeah, just a bit of a back and forth.
I think
Grief has been spotted by
we'll
Sandwich.
cover that in the
His
recap.
flank has been thwarted somewhat. King going for retreat. Yeah, that flank sadly didn't amount to anything, but he could just go back to playing a long distance game again now. Solid block from Sandwich as always. And here we go with another back and forth. No one going for stealth, but outside of King, of course. Big long range bolt. Well done, Sandwich. Good shot. But Doctor just not taking any damage yet. So it'll be a tough one. More chip damage. Oh, big damage to Grief, big damage to Sandwich.
Few strays even hit King there.
Those ricochet battle rifles are really dominating the flow of the match right now. I think Sandwich might be getting a bit annoyed and he might be looking for something, potentially. Yeah.
Oh, another 2 hits there.
More shots. King rotating as well. Looking for a kill here.
Doc,
Unlucky.
unfortunately, unable to capitalize there as he is out of everything ammo-wise. Just 1 cube, fires it. And it hits!
Hunter, it landed. Big damage. Oh, unfortunately, Grief only shot a leg here.
Oh,
Sandwich is
unfortunate.
unable to
Sandwich
communicate how
got
dire
lucky.
his situation is. One hit point on Sandwich. Oh, okay.
King is staying right next to Sandwich.
Yeah. I do think Sandwich will... Yes, he's just going to defend.
Took down
Taking the minor risk of trying to stay out of line of sight. Oh, scary hunters. Grief on the flank. Oh, more damage. Sandwich in a really
enough health
sticky
back,
situation.
and down goes King.
King is down. Sandwich, he isn't opting to go full guard here. Still opting to full guard does fully block a pelican shot if no one knew that already. That he's instead opting to use some natural cover to potentially slow down the damage of the pelican. And he's making sure to really position his back to the beach. Here we go.
There it is!
Big damage from Doctor.
Beautiful explosive BR there. Just hits him dead on. The barrier is not able to contain the damage, bringing him down. Well played. And that's going to be the match here, ladies and gentlemen. As we see the Team Trigger Happy Havoc move on to the finals of this tournament, where they will be facing off against Guns and Mohawk for the Championship Cup of this Fusion Cup tournament. That being said, Spikey Boom Sticks did very well, securing 3rd place overall, which is nothing to laugh at here. That is the coveted bronze medal. Very good job at both these teams. It was a good 3-round match. So they're approaching there. No, it's all good. He was hyping. He was getting the adrenaline flowing for Grief. Got to get the endorphins going. Yeah, so early shot there. That I think that one right here, I think might.
You are not sharing your screen.
Oh, I'm not. Oh, fuck.
Nope. Tell me to turn off my
Katashi,
one as well.
Katashi, cut that out.
No, Katashi, leave all of
Katashi, cut
the
that part out.
interesting things in, please. No,
Uh,
do not do that.
yeah. So right here, King has sighted Grief, and just to the right, Grief strafed to
Whoa.
his right, just to that right. That could have been a very, very different match if that shot had connected with Grief's chest.
Yes.
As King falls back here. Um, to reset as Sandwich fires off long shots along with here. And so here Doc is really honed in here, alert for any potential danger. What's that? And it's Grief. Just a slight bit of damage there to his teammate. But his team is called the Trigger Happy Havocs for a reason. Uh, so they're
Good
just very
reflexes, Doctor.
very on
That was a
brand
good
there with the
flick, I must say. Good
reflexes. Yeah,
flick.
yeah,
Good
very.
flick.
Listen,
Nice
he's
flick.
just warming up. It's all good. It's all good.
Warning shots. Warning
Yeah, they're just
shots.
warning shots. It's like Grief got a little too close. Um, as
I
it,
will
and
say
then
good
and then,
blocking though.
but right
Very
here,
good
Doc
blocking.
more than made up for that. Like Sandwich is already down to 56 health as he was just getting rinsed by Ricochet BR, and I don't know if Grief got any shots in earlier. So very, very intense match from start to finish here because even though Sandwich is that hurt, it still took quite a while for Sandwich to be brought down as Grief is going for this flank here. And this was a moment here where, likewise with King, he is sighting here, but if we scope back a little bit here, we'll see right here, if you note at the top left, Sandwich back totally exposed here. But
Yeah.
instead, Grief is trying to lock in on King, which objectively, eliminate the sniper makes sense, but there is a chance to end Sandwich immediately, which would allow them to just double down on a sniper who only has Pelican. So, in the end,
Yes.
didn't matter, but it's those key opportunities that, just like earlier with King missing the chest shot on Grief, that match could have been very, very different if other shots had connected. And there's that long range bolt. That was a very, very good shot. Do some chip damage on Grief, right there. Sandwich is good distance away and still manages to right there land a solid about 20 damage on Grief, 21 damage.
Yeah. I do think again, I've been saying this the whole time, but the Ricochet VR just really controlled the flow of the match. Um
Beautiful
but
Hunter there, which I think connected on Grief, damaging him up there. Both teams, I think this last round was very much a culmination of the first two matches, both the
yeah.
lessons and mistakes made and being able to try to address them here, as seeing as how in this case both duos lived a decently long time instead of one going down early.
Yeah. I
Doc
do
really trying
think
to make use of the walls. So at this point, they're squaring down into the beach. Sandwich at 1 health.
that
And
was
still managed to come back. Stayed hit just long enough here to get his energy back up high enough. Uses energy to get his health back up high enough to survive the future Pelican shot from Grief through his barrier.
yeah.
Sandwich
He
quite
also
embodying
lost a
the
limb.
level, embodying the lesson of don't die.
Yes. Sandwich is very good at not dying, I must
Yes, he
say.
is. And down goes King from Ricochet BR as Doc continues to put the pressure on. And at this point, it's just jockeying Sandwich into a position. But I'm very happy.
Yes.
Got a
This
solid
is
view of this upcoming kill here. As Doc's waiting for his ammo to come back, sees that it's like, well, I'm going to fire that off, and then, well, might as well go for broke. And there it
Ooh.
is. Dead
Yeah.
on the shield, and the shield just couldn't hold back the amount of damage around it.
I do like a good grounded battle rifle shot. Very clean ones, I must say. That was a great shot. Yes, we even have Vertex himself commenting that was a great shot. So good shot, Doctor.
Yep, so
Yeah.
excellent match as the Trigger Happy Havocs go on to the finals. And but I don't think the Spiky Boom Sticks are going to be sleeping uneasily tonight, given that they did take home third place with this match. So they definitely have earned their reward for that, which is a solid pat on the back. They did,
Virtual pat
yeah,
on the back. I
virtual
like.
pat on the back. So
No,
we,
but well played to everyone involved. That was a very good game.
yep. So thank you all for joining us here. We've been your commentators tour today, and it's been great to have you here, Flicked, subbing in for Katashi and
Katashi,
Karif.
you're
Thank you all for coming. We are happy to have you, and we'll see you in the Fusion Cup finals, whenever that will actually be. I've been your color commentator, Lockmere, and thank you, Flick, for
It
being our
has been
play-by-play
I.
for today.
Yes. Kitashi's replacement.